saying that most important thing is for you to know your technicals well, know your levels, know your technicals to the dot. Once you understand that, you won't have any challenges, even in terms of news that might come, whatever, whatever. All those they will come, but they will definitely find you already having a bias in the direction already in plan or in your head. So this week we have CPI. CPI is there on Wednesday. We have CPI on Wednesday. That same that same Wednesday at 8, we also have interest rates also that are being released. We also have FMC. 8:30 is also FMC. So Wednesday, Thursday, it's a red. Wednesday. So most likely Monday and Tuesday, they are the only days that are going to be
of
quiet.
material
Can
which
you
you can
please mute your
change at
mics?
the press of a
I don't
button.
need to keep repeating myself, man. So I'm saying Monday and Tuesday most likely will be the days that will be uh quiet in terms of no news. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's all news after news after news after news. So that's not the main important point. So I just wanted to, before I even look at the page that I want to look at, some of you most of the times you literally neglect very, very simple, especially once you have this understanding, you definitely realize that there are other pairs that move so smoothly. Like if you look at GBP JPY from this was in 2020, actually during COVID time. When it tapped on this level, according to the way we look at the charts, some of us, according to the strategy that we use, obviously, this market literally did shift up there, obviously came back to the same level and shifted again to the upside there. That was a major, major buying opportunity right there on this zone here. So when they came here, one could have easily bought even right here. So buying in there, even if you were looking at this as your short-term TP, even after that one is broken, remember, those that are in the class are aware of a concept whereby we say even after a level has been broken, the most important thing is for you to follow through. If structure still remains the same, you can still hold on to that position. So here you notice that even as they came and took out this level, structure, if you look at structure here, looking at our individual candlesticks, whatever, structure literally remained bullish because here, if I'm going to mark something here, that was a level, that was a level. Then here, that was a level. That was a new high. Same, they came to the same low. They didn't take it out. That was a high, 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 blah, 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 blah. So throughout the entire time, they kept on maintaining the same direction. I also went to the weekly. On the weekly, you see something. So just looking at this year alone, just this year alone, forgetting about all these other levels there, you literally can see ever since January. Because here the next target was this. After that, then we're looking at that supply area there. So if you look at if you look at structure was still bullish, obviously, up until we take out that. That was one point. The second other point is, let me just put this nicely. That was a break. They came here. That was a break. You could have marked like this, right? Even if you marked like this, they literally came back to the same level here. They never changed the level, or they never took out the level to break below it. So here you could have bought even here, which was actually in December, January. Here you could have also bought. If you look at structure, you're looking at the individual candlesticks, you realize that they were still bullish throughout, up until even where they are. Even right now where they are still bullish because here our last structure, the upside, it was literally something like this, right? Which they broke outside there already. So here, even if you use that high and use this low, still it's still the same idea. So you can still see that they are still bullish. So imagine now you have this understanding and you just maximized on this buy. You entered those buys here. Let's say you never even scaled in. Let's say, obviously, I'm talking in terms of someone who might not know how structure is moving properly. This structure is still bullish. So even if you held onto that position up until they shift bearish, that position even till today, right now we are now in June. That's like 5, 6 months later, just from here to where we are today. structure was still bullish. All the fluctuations you were seeing on the lower time frames there were basically pullbacks. We can call them range pullbacks. If I mark this range here, and maybe I mark another range here. Let me put it well. If I mark another range here, these ranges, if you go to a lower time frame, you'll see it as a lot of structure. You'll see it as a lot of structure, as a lot of as a lot of fluctuations. But it's that market is still bullish. If you go to the daily, starting on the daily, all these ranges, look at all the ranges that I marked. All the ranges that I marked on the weekly were basically moments that the market was just fluctuating or just pulling back on the lower time frames. To prove to you that everything that happens on the higher time frame is also happening on the lower time frames. I will do a proper full video on this, specifically starting obviously with GBP JPY to illustrate the main point that I want to illustrate. But that's not the point, or that's not the main idea of tonight. I'm just trying to show you just something that is valuable that most of you miss out on. So as for DXY, I've been talking about the DXY for the past breakdowns that we have done together. I've been talking about the DXY. I think I also told you guys that the DXY, my bias is still bullish. Even if you go to the monthly, everything there is still bullish. Looking at the monthly, we did shift to the upside here. We came back to this level. So yeah, according to structure here, if ever you're just going to mark some legs, that's a leg there, and that's a leg here. So it's like we have a higher high. So yeah, we now have to come and break and close higher again there. So that's the current idea there. So in order for them to do that, they have to maintain the whole entire order flow or the whole entire bullish market structure to the upside. That's a high, that's a low. This was a pullback. That's a high there, and that's a low. That's why I told you on this level where we are on the DXY, that level where we are at, this level, that's not a support per se. Someone might say, is drawing support. It's not necessarily a support. If you look at this level, it's basically a law of this candle, right? That's the idea behind it. That's why you saw even so this can even help you to understand that even all those news events that you'll find, most likely you'll find that it will basically be in the same direction of order flow. So here, I'm looking forward to a push into that level here. I'm looking forward to a strong push of this monthly candle, which still has 19 days. So on the DXY, I'm still bullish. Looking on the monthly, even if I go to the weekly, even if you go to the weekly, same thing, same idea. That's a high, that's a low, higher high there, higher low here, sort of like a higher high there. If you go to the daily, you literally realize that there's another structure here. So all of those things are things that you just need to. So yeah, I'm still overly bullish on the DXY. I also liked how last week's candle closed. It actually did give me one of the confirmation that I actually needed. It actually happened. So even here, you can see that there was a slight structure here on the daily. If you go to the lower time frame than the daily, you can see it properly. But that was a structure actually. So on even during NFP last week, which was on Friday, it wasn't even a complicated move per se. You're looking at the fact that we'd spoken that the DXY, where it is there, we are looking forward for a shoot up. Then I said the only time you might think otherwise is if you see it closing below this level, of which it never did. So that was the whole entire idea. I like how it closed here, how it took out some highs here, which is a good thing now because all it can do maybe Monday, Tuesday is maybe pull back into this demand, slight pull back there, then boom, fly. So even our idea of trading CPI on Wednesday, even the news that are coming Thursday, even whatever, we are not even shaking in terms of really understanding the direction and whatever. Because already we are bullish. If you are bullish on the DXY, most likely, most probably, if all goes well, we'll definitely still be bearish the same way we are bearish on NFP. So looking at US 30, looking at the weekly, let me start on the weekly. Looking on the weekly time frame now, I have a structure here. I have a structure here. This is my new lower low. My previous high is this one, right? Because here, all of this is considered a pullback. That's why the idea of still having something like this is still a possibility, still highly a possibility. All we just need to do is combine other confluences to support that idea. It's still possible. It's still possible for it to still do this. Still possible. All you just need to do is combine other facts to see if ever it's going to do that straight away. If we don't get those facts, if we don't get those confluences, definitely we'll just do something like this now, right? Something like this. So it's all a matter of you just combining other confluences to support whatever idea that you'll be having. So you're looking at the daily. Looking at the daily structure, I liked how it literally shifted to go to the downside, which is good because here we're going up, now we're coming down. So now, here on the daily, if you look closely, they literally took out this structure level to the upside, which now can also support the fact that the potential now for them to still do this is still there. We still have that potential. So even once they get there, definitely we're looking at swing cells there. We're looking at swing cells like this. That's still a major swing selling zone that we'll still be looking at there. So this is one of my bias that I have for this coming week. Even the way we're going to be giving signals, most likely up there, we're looking at major cells right here. We just wait for some extra confirmations if need be, or even for it to close above this supply area, maybe for us to get those entry points that we be wanting. So most likely that will be that's mainly our main idea for this week. So far, till further notice, if ever any, remember, technical analysis is something that is, I can say, analysis is very progressive. It's very progressive in the sense that uh, if ever the markets move and give you new data, you need to move with that new data and see if ever that new data is it changing your old bias. If ever your old bias is being changed, it means now you also need to change in terms of the decisions that you wanted to make. So yeah, looking at this structure right here, we still have some things fully take out before we can fully say now it's fully going down, right? But now remember, I said the potential of us coming back there up is still there, considering the fact that it's actually a turning point. If you look at this turning point to the left here, this was a turning point, and also that one is a turning point. That one I can also say slightly a turning point. So yeah, if you look at this turning point, they literally went up nicely, shifted our structure to the upside. After shifting our structure to the upside, they still came back down like that. So same thing here. They've shifted our structure to the downside. Good. But then remember, I told you the reasons of coming back. There are so many. Wiping out liquidity, taking out previous money that they would have left behind, all that and all that and all that. So once you understand all of that, that potential to still buy, it's still there. Most of the, if ever I'm going to take any buy in the VIP group, most likely I'll give that buy above this. Above this, it's actually a free, much more free traffic zone because here, so long as it's still below here, it can still play around, play around, play around. But once it's above there, there's free traffic. Even to the left here, there's nothing to fear about. So those are the main ideas. If any full changes happen on the downside of things, definitely we'll see and we'll actually adjust to them. But so far, this is the idea. Moving on to the next pair. Right, GU and EU, they literally did almost as we were anticipating, almost as we spoke. If you listened, what we have been talking about on these breakdowns. If you look on the 8 hour and 4 hour, they literally touched that supply area, which is good now. So now the most important thing for Euro USD to do, which is also a very beautiful, I can say this is also a very beautiful week in the sense that there is nothing that I can say it's confusing in terms of structure. The other weeks, whereby you can actually enter a week and even as you try to analyze, you still have a lot of questions in terms of where you are basically anticipating the market to go and whatever. So this week, Euro USD, the first most important thing is for you to close below this level. Close below this level is literally changing character. The changing character, it means we now have a swing lower high, which is this one. So once they've done this, we know that that's a so even if they come back here, right? Even if they come back there, definitely you take sales right there on that supply area there. Then we strike, it might give you some pullbacks up until they come for this, something like this. So Euro USD, this is one of the main biases that we are having for this week. That's one of the main ideas that we're currently having for the week on Euro USD. Beautiful sales. So the most important thing, even on the VIP group, I think most likely the trade idea or the trade setup or the signal that we're going to give mainly is the one that is will be with the trend, because once we change character, the trend will be bearish. So most likely we'll just be anticipating a reversal up there before the overall continuation. So most likely we'll get nice sales from there. So Monday, Tuesday, if it moves well, it can actually get there. So that Wednesday, when we get CPI, if we get it up there, beautiful. We'll just take sales. We'll just take sales. So that's it for Euro USD. Nothing to complicate the issue. GBPSD also flowing nicely as well. Almost the same idea. Almost the same similar idea. Almost the same similar idea with EU. This one now, what I like is that it has reached its extreme level there, right? That's an extreme level there. We changed character here, we came back to the extreme level. So there is nothing that I can say it still has to take out there. That's why it's actually one of the major selling zones where it is GBPUSD. You can literally hold this trade all the way from up there up until here. This one, it took April, the whole of April from 2021 April up until today. Imagine that's like a month and a half or so. Just the buying. So the sales also most likely we're looking at something like a month or two even to get finally to this level. So the most important move now on GU is some almost the similar thing to Euro USD, whereby we have to change character. Once they change character, they'll most probably come back to this zone that I drop here. So here we are having something like this. Then they can tap this demand, come back, something like this. Something like this. This is what I'm looking at on GBP USD. This is what I'm looking at on GBP USD. So nothing much to complicate things there. This is once you change character, definitely they would have made this zone a very good zone to even come back onto. So we'll just be looking forward to a possible pullback before an overall continuation there. Something like this, whereby after we change character here, right? They don't just keep on buying and buying. They will literally most probably come back to the same level, which led to the change of character. They come again there, they shift structure, then you strike something like that. That is what we are now looking forward to right here on this level. So GBPSD, this is the main idea. I can say main idea, main idea, main idea. If any changes come, definitely we just adjust to the changes that will come, but most likely our idea is still on the bearish side of things. Nasdaq, it's also promising some good, it's still promising some good potential potential good sales only after major confirmations. Yeah, I literally wanted last week's candle to close bearish, to close literally below here, but it couldn't do that, which is not a problem, not even a bit. So the most important thing now on Nasdaq is if we go to the daily, because that's the highest high it has ever been. We're going to mark some levels here on the daily. That's a slight break, and our change of character in that case, it will basically be somewhere around here, right? Somewhere around here. So that's what we'll be looking into. Uh, that was also a break there. So there, once we get proper shifts, this will be actually a target level. This is a target. It's actually a target level. Once they shift properly up there, this is a level that you can literally utilize for your targets. So up there, once they shift nicely there, you can even take sales. They can most likely give us something like this, then boom, something like this. So now the most important thing is for you to just go down to where they have to shift. If you go to the 8 hour, I like what I'm seeing here. This was a simple buy to the upside. They literally bought nicely from here. If you look at that structure here, they bought there. I think also around here, I was also anticipating them to probably sell. If you look at even the sell idea or the sell bias weight, it was coming from, it was literally coming from this level. That's a low and that's a high. So we still consider this as internal structure. That's why even when it got around here, we're basically anticipating a possible shift so that it literally sells, of which it didn't do that, which was not a problem, which is not even a problem because the structure, overall structure was still bullish. So I can say that's a leg, that's a higher low. This was also a swing higher low, higher high. So there, once we shift there, we can even take cells up until they change character. You can even hold those cells up until they change character. Once they change character, they can tap around this demand there before they give you that possible potential shift to the upside. And if you look at comparing Nasdaq and US 30, it actually seems like this time Nasdaq is actually lagging behind uh in terms of their movements. So I can safely say that US 30 is it's like ahead of Nasdaq currently. Looking at the current affairs, the purpose of this trend line there is just to show you where the market just did the bounce there. It's not entirely because of the trend line. Yes, the trend line it might have had an effect, but now the main idea is so that you understand that this structure was still overly bullish. That's the main idea. Then so that once they change character there, you actually know that overall we're now bearish. That's the main idea. So yeah, the most important level now, going to the most important point of the day, the most important level now to take out in order for us to take major sells on Nasdaq. I think Nasdaq, if ever it moves well, it can actually give us maybe our first initial trades for the week. If ever it moves well, if ever it moves well, if ever it moves well, it might give us. So here, once we close below there, definitely we are going to be having sells up until we change character there. So even now, even once they get to the trend line here, you don't need to jump out just because there are other people who are so blind to understand that they have been taught that once you tap the trend line, you jump in. So someone here would actually be anticipating this. But because they are not aware of all the factors that we're looking into, the DXY, whatever is happening on the US 30, the US 30 having already changed character, blah, blah, blah. They are not, they don't look into all of that. All they're just focusing on is on the tiny details that they've been told that once you tap the trend line, you jump in, which is, which is, which is actually, I can safely say, which is incomplete information. So here, even once they start dropping and get to the trend line, don't quickly jump out of your cells. All you can do is obviously by the time they get here, obviously all the trades that you would have entered around up there, obviously you would have protected them. There is no, they actually will be floating as risk-free trades, as risk-free trades. So that's the main idea behind Nasdaq for this week. Let me see 2 hour if ever there's anything interesting. Anything interesting that it has done? Nothing really. Nothing really. It's still that same zone, which is fundamental. So this level is very fundamental, very key. Once we close nicely below that level, we can have beautiful cells, beauty, beautiful cells, beautiful cells, beautiful cells on Nasdaq. So last but not least, let's look at gold and see what it's actually cooking for the week. Let's see gold. Gold also, I did explain to you last time. I think it was a day before NFP when I explained that level. So gold now, the idea is we haven't changed characters yet, right? So if we are going to change character there, we are going to change character there. I told you the simple principle there because if they're going to change character, they have to maintain bearish order flow up until so gold. The main bias for the week will be basically to first change the character, tap this zone, then fly back up. Obviously, this candle here, it can just open bullish because this is one whole candle, bullish to this level or that level. they come here or here, if they come here, then drop, still fine. Still fine. Something like this. So either here or here, that's where they are going to give you a slight pullback because that whole NFP move, it literally created a huge range for that whole movement to the downside. So that whole range now, it's also the range that they can still utilize to their benefit. So this zone, I literally drew it based on this high and this low. I said this is all a pullback. That's why even the cells, other cells that you could have even caught before the NFP move, they were so easy, so simple to notice. So gold, this is my main move or my main bias for the week. Just this, nothing complicated, nothing to complicate issues or matters here. This is my whole bias. So once we come back here or here, once you get that shift to the downside, those will be good cells. Once you enter those cells, you can hold them up until they change this as well as up until that level before the ultimate shift. This move alone, just the pullback here and coming here, it can even take the whole week from Monday to Friday, just to Monday candle, to pull back. Tuesday, it can maybe come back here. Wednesday, maybe give a rejection before the news, then news, boom, fall. Four, 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 four. Thursday, Friday, just this move alone. So that's why I said even for the news on CPI, most likely looking at the current data that we have so far, we can still say so far we have that bearish bias, still the same bearish bias that we had on NFP. So the same bearish bias so where you enter positions, you're looking at this level, that's on there. If it comes here and shifts on the lower time frame, you can enter there, but most likely we're looking at this level for major sales. Once it shifts there, obviously you'll get other extra sales that you add on after the shift on lower time frames. Even as it will be going, you can even be adding trades, blah blah blah. Then here, potential reversals to the upside, obviously with confirmations again. Then there, major sales again with confirmation. So those are my main levels of entry. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about those minor ones where the market will be coming down, creating minor ranges there. That's not the that's not quite important for today. The most important thing for today is so that you know the main idea or the main things we are wanting to see this week. So that's it. Once it comes to that level, once it pulls back to that supply area there or that order block, you can even take beautiful cells upon the shift. Upon the shift, let me see 4 hour. On the 4 hour, it's literally a higher here. You can put it like this also, because it can still come there. So that's where the level is. Let me go to the 2 hour. Let me just show you something that. So on the 2 hour, we go to 1 hour actually. So that I show you the shift. The shift. What I say when I say shift. This was the shift in this case. Our shift was literally here. Or I can just say here. Someone can mark this, but it was literally here. That was also a shift. This one maybe you could have maybe edited it as an extra confirmation, but that was the shift that you just wanted. And it literally this shift actually happened before news. I saw it actually dropping before your NFP. To understand that even if you sold there, then NFP came later on. That was just a simple ride. So here, once they shift once they shift structure up there, those will be potential buys to the upside, which will be pullback buys, buying to sell basically. That's what you'll be doing. So for next week, those are some of my main ideas or some of the main pairs basically that I'm going to be looking into. US30 and Nasdaq, I just look at it as one thing in the sense of whereby we always have that in delayed direct correlation, and also in the sense that they are both stock indices. So I look at them literally as one thing. GU and EU also almost one thing. I also look at them as one thing as well. So gold, that one you can just put it as a standalone, but it's still obeying the same principles of structure. right? So DXY, we did speak here. We have some beautiful confirmations on the 4 hour, beautiful confirmations here. Obviously, as I said, that it can pull back, potentially pull back there before the ultimate shoot to the upside. So even your CPI direction for Wednesday, if you look at your DXY, which is the most important thing that you can just look at, the first thing, actually, not the most important, but the first thing that you can just look at for that Wednesday, you can look at your DXY. It will if it's clear, you definitely know what all those other pairs will do. If it's not clear, you can go to any one of those pairs that are related to the dollar, whether directly related to the dollar or indirectly related to the dollar. Like I remember on Friday, um, I I was actually showing this other guy. I actually gave this other guy that I was trading with a simple signal on USD JPY. Even though personally I didn't take it because I had already taken most of my positions on these pairs up there. So it was actually on USD JPY when I was just pondering over the idea of where this NFP direction is going to go. I literally did a simple structure here on the 4 hour. I literally read that we are bullish here, we are bullish. Okay, we are seeing a higher high, higher low. That was a higher high. They came back to the higher low. They didn't take it out. Then they shifted to the upside. After shifting to the upside, they came back here for a pullback on the demand there. So that was the level. I literally saw all of that. So even the idea of him buying, I even went as far as this level here. They literally shifted up here. So this was around our NFP time. That I actually told the guy to buy right there. Obviously, the stop loss in that case, it was just here or even here. But now because of news, you can't put it here. You can have a slide. So that was the whole idea, which I'm still expecting it to push, to keep on pushing before the overall reaching of that level. But even before reaching there, it can still give you a slight pullback. Slight pullback. I'm not beyond even the trend line can come to this demand area here and something like this. That's for USD JPY. USD CAD, also a similar thing in the sense of that bullish momentum. Also a similar thing in the sense of that bullish momentum, whereby if you look at the daily, they are literally pushing up, right? They're literally pushing up. Even if you go to the weekly or the monthly, let's go to the monthly. On the monthly, you literally realize that they they are most like they are overly bullish. I mean, swing higher high, swing higher low, swing higher high, swing higher low. So here they haven't taken out the high. So we are still anticipating that to happen. If you mark here the monthly range, the high and the low of that candle, all of this is a pullback. Once you understand that, even if you go to the weekly, once you get, so here this was a pullback into this level, they shifted up. That's a level. They came again, they shifted up. This was a huge swing buy which started here. Your first tip is here, but obviously you're looking forward to that level. So in order for them to take out this, they have to maintain bullish order flow, bullish order flow, bullish order flow. High, low, that's a pullback. On that pullback, once we finish our pullback in this range, we anticipate continuation of buy. So this one still has huge potential to still buy all the way up until it breaks, as well as up until it gets to that other level there. All of these things that I'm telling you are things that are so practical, things that most of the times they actually do happen as we would have spoken. Most of you, the only problem that you have is failing to basically, what do you call this? To follow through on certain ideas that would have spoken. That's why I always tell you, even after every session, you need to rewatch the session, write whatever important major points that would have spoken about, so that even as the moves will be happening throughout the week, you're not confused. You literally know what's going on. So USD CAD potentially we're looking forward for a continuation of buys to the upside. I like how it broke this level. So the next candle might just be a pullback into this other demand right here before the continuation. So I'm just giving you another extra trade idea to just focus on, whereby once they come there, you just wait for that 1 hour shift. Once you get that, you enter target. First target is there. Second, third, you're looking forward to that level up there. So USD CAD, that's the whole entire idea. Just wait for that pullback into that demand area, then you strike. So I feel like for this week, most of the ideas that are very relevant for you to maximize on. We have shared them. Make sure you rewatch the session. I'll try by all means to make sure that we put it up on YouTube as early as possible, even maybe before midnight. I'll try my best to make sure that we put it up before the market, before most of these markets open. So for next week, that's it. It's a very, very profitable week in the sense that we have major swings that are actually beginning on GU, EU. We have major swings there that are cooking nicely. US 30 also, we're looking forward for it to come back up there. Major swings as well. Nasdaq, obviously, we are first expecting it to change character, but obviously, once it changes character properly, we're also anticipating beautiful swings as well. Gold still cooking, but after it changes nicely, our major swing cells will also be cooking, especially once we come back up there. So those are beautiful setups for the week. I hope you have all understood. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. We might have a session tomorrow. Might have another session tomorrow. We might have in the evening. We might have for those synthetic pairs, whatever, whatever. We'll cover them tomorrow. Tomorrow.